Okay, this next story is from the AITAH and has a trigger warning of infant loss. Geesh, no. Title of this is, Am I the Astronaut for Wanting to Divorce My Husband Because He Wants a Son? I, 27 female, have been with my husband, 29 male, for 5 years, married for 3 of those years. Our marriage was perfect and we were so happy. It felt like our entire life was perfect. Church on Sunday, loving husband, beautiful home, all of it. A few months into our marriage, I became pregnant and my husband and I were overjoyed, and so was the rest of our family. My husband was especially happy after finding out our baby was a boy, as he'd always told me he wanted at least one son. I even started to try to attempt to repair my relationship with my mother so our son could have a relationship with his grandparents. I had originally cut off most contact with my mother due to how she treated my brother when he married his husband. Though my brother said he was all right with my decision to get her back in my life since he still has love for her and my baby was her first grandchild. However, our son ended up stillborn and it broke me. I fell into a depression and at one point even considered doing the worst, but my husband was there for me during all of it and we got through the grief. Our marriage felt stronger than ever and life started slowly feeling beautiful again, even if it no longer felt perfect. About 5 months ago, I found out I'm pregnant again, and then found soon after we're having triplets. My husband and I were over the moon and he was the most doting and loving husband. Since we have always said that we wanted 2 to 3 children, we agreed that we wouldn't try for any more children after this. Well, shoot, if we were having triplets, I'd say the same thing. I'd be like, after this, we are done. Triplets, no more. Nobody has triplets, and then they're like, you know what? We should have more. Because of our and our family's excitement for the triplets, we decided to throw a baby shower and gender reveal party. We trusted my brother with the genders of the triplets, and he bought some confetti cannons with the colored streamers inside. The baby shower went wonderfully with my parents, in-laws, my brother and his husband and their daughter, and tons of friends and extended family. It was like a dream come true, and I was so excited for the gender reveal. I don't care what the gender of our babies was, I just wanted healthy little babies. But my husband was clearly excited for potentially 3 sons. When the time came, me, my husband, and my brother all shot a confetti cannon, and all 3 shot out pink confetti. I was so excited, and so was my brother, but my husband screamed at the top of his lungs and hit the table in front of us, hitting it so hard that he actually broke it. He screamed at me that I was supposed to give him at least 1 son because I killed his first son. Well, that's up. This just got super dark. That's when I burst into tears. I had been so broken up about our son's stillbirth, and a part of me had felt like it was my fault. And now he, my husband, was the love of my life, telling me that it was. My brother immediately stepped in and tried to get my husband to calm down, but my husband shoved my brother. So my brother instead pulled me inside, where I cried in the living room while my husband's mother tried to calm him down. I could hear him screaming outside about how 3 daughters is too many, how he doesn't want 4 kids, but he also wants a son. Ever since that moment, my husband has hardly talked to me. He's been sleeping in the guest room, and when we do interact, he's clearly upset and mad and tries to argue with me. I tried to talk to him about it and asked how he'll be with our 3 daughters, but he spat at me and told me he will provide them shelter and food, but he isn't interested in daughters and doesn't plan to have a close relationship with them. That sealed the deal that I want to divorce him, and I cried myself to sleep last night. Earlier today, I confided in my mother and mother-in-law about all of this, but they told me I can't divorce my husband just because he wants a son. Well, it's not just because of that. I don't want my daughters to grow up in an unloving household where their parents constantly argue and their father doesn't love them. The moment my husband said I killed our son, I felt as though I lost all love I had for him in an instant, and I don't want my daughters to be in that kind of household. However, both my mom and my mother-in-law say it's natural for men to want sons and that at least he isn't saying he'll mistreat them. But he did say that. They treated this as an absolute fact and acted as though I'm just a silly little girl who doesn't know anything. I felt incredibly small and stupid. I don't know what to do. My mother and mother-in-law make me feel like I'm maybe overreacting to my husband's behavior, but my brother says this is not normal, as he and his husband are both men who absolutely love their daughter. I'm also not sure of what I'll do with myself if I divorce my husband. I don't work, and I'm not sure I'll be able to find a job that can support me and 3 babies all on my own, or how I'll make time for all of them when I have to work. I feel so lost and helpless. I'm torn on what to do because I worry divorce will be too brash of a decision and that maybe my mother and mother-in-law are right. Am I the astronaut? What should I do? There's an update here, but let's talk about this for a second because holy shit. This is terrible. I think the situation is definitely being minimized by my mom and mother-in-law. He said he would support them, but not have any kind of close relationship with them. Cruel intentions. I agree with you here. This most likely is delayed grief, right? Like this is his grief rearing its ugly head in the ugliest of ways, but grief cannot allow you cannot allow grief to make you into this person, Dad. You can want a son all you want, and that's fine. You can want a son, but to want something so bad that it makes you not want what you have is destructive. And to openly act out like this and to make these claims against your wife, the woman who's carrying your children, the woman that you supposedly love, and say that it's her fault that the baby was lost the first time, and then to get so mad that she's supposed to give you sons. Gender is determined by the men anyway. So this is a you problem, dude. But it's not a problem. You've got 3 right now, at least, healthy kids. And the stress that you are putting your wife under, who is carrying these kids, is not going to help that situation and help ensure that you have healthy children here. Dad needs therapy right now, like critical. This is emergency therapy kind of situation. And OP, I understand your frustration and your fears here because, yeah, what the hell? What are you going to do? I mean, best case scenario here, he ends up turning it around, but he's got a lot to grovel for. And trust is a big thing that has been broken right now, because it's not just worry about him actually caring for them. There's worry about some kind of acting out and physicality involved here too. Like there are a lot of danger signs and red flags going on here, and he's going to have to claw his way back if he wants to be a part of this family. He's got to reestablish that trust and love, and it's going to take a whole lot of work. I do believe this was grief triggered. I do believe this was suppressed grief that made him flip out, but it doesn't matter. You cannot do these kind of things. You can't. You can't and expect there to be no repercussions at all. That is not okay. This is incredibly sad. And the position that she's now put in is terrible. And the fact that mom and mother-in-law are not advocating for her right now, they're advocating for him, is heartbreaking. Her mom at least is supposed to be in her corner advocating for her. No one is advocating for the mother who's carrying 3 babies right now, except for her brother. That's heartbreaking. This story sucks and I hate it so far. Let's hope this turns around in the update. It's not gonna, is it? It's not gonna turn around. It's not gonna get any better. Freaking, it's got a long way to go to make me return from pissed off land. Update to Am I the Astronaut for wanting to divorce my husband for wanting a son. I didn't expect to have an update so soon, but after reading everyone's comments, I decided to take action immediately and went to my brother's house. We talked for hours through the night and came up with a plan. I am going to divorce my husband. He's shown the kind of man he is, and I don't want to live in or raise daughters in that kind of environment. I'm going to move in with my brother and brother-in-law during all of this. He and his husband have a nice large house where I can have my own room and a nursery for the triplets. I originally worried that perhaps myself and 3 babies would be overwhelming or a burden to him and my brother-in-law, but they assured me that they would love to have us there. I knew everything would be okay when my brother even offered to have a baby monitor put in their bedroom so he could help if more than one of the triplets woke up during the night. Crap, never thought about that part. What if more than one kid wakes up? And you know they will. My brother-in-law has a nice high-paying job and my brother works from home, so I will have a stable environment and my brother will help with his nieces. My own niece is excited for us all to live with her. The current plan is I will live with my brother and brother-in-law for a while, and once my babies are old enough where I feel comfortable putting them in daycare, which my brother-in-law has offered to pay for, then I can try to find a job of my own where I can save up money and eventually move into a nice place of my own with my daughters. I'm so thankful for my brother and brother-in-law. They truly feel like angels. My brother and I are also going to go no contact with my mother. My brother and I discussed her behavior with us growing up, how she treated him when he came out and also got married, and how she's treated me these past few days. We decided this was the best course of action as we've given her many chances in our lives to become more stable and kind, but she's always refused them. And we want our daughters to grow up in a loving family. When I knew my husband had left for church this morning, my brother, brother-in-law, and I went to the house and got all of my important things such as documents, clothes, and things that are special to me, as well as all the baby things. My brother-in-law's mother watched my niece while we did all of this. She's a kind woman and has offered to be a grandmother to my own babies, which I happily appreciated. I will admit that I cried. I've cried a lot lately, but mostly happy tears. Because my brother and I didn't go to church, my ladies' Bible study group texted me and asked if we were all right and if we needed anything. I texted them back and told them the truth and what happened, and they were all horrified. They told me they support me and are proud of me for taking action and are now even planning a bake sale at the church to help raise money for me and my babies. Also, apparently when my husband went out to the lunch after church with his men's Bible group, one of the other members is husbands to one of my friends in my Bible group, and when he found out what happened, he yelled at my husband so much that he cried. I got a little bit of joy out of hearing about that, not gonna lie. My pastor even called me and asked if I'm okay, and he let me know that I'll always have people who support me at my church, which I'm very grateful for. After my husband came home from church and saw that most of my stuff was gone, he blew up my phone, but my brother-in-law called him for me and said that he would pay for my husband to get therapy for his grief over our son, and also told him to leave me alone. My husband has not tried to contact me since, and he has yet to give my brother-in-law an answer for his therapy offer. All in all, I am so grateful for my brother and brother-in-law. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them. I'm hopeful for the future, and while this isn't the kind of future I imagine for myself or my babies, this is definitely the best one I can currently give them. They say it takes a village, and my babies will definitely have a village full of love and support. Thank you and bless you to everyone who left comments for supporting me. I'm grateful for all of them. I'm glad I could give you a very speedy and happy update. That's way better than any kind of update that I could have imagined here. Way better. Yeah, now that's amazing. And, man, brother and brother-in-law stepping up and just being DFHBs to 1,000 degrees. Yeah. Round of applause for these people for stepping up and taking her in and being the only advocates for her, but being advocates for her so fervently, right? Like taking it all the way and offering 100% support and offering to do all of the things that need to be done, including to pay for therapy for OP's hubby here, who clearly needs it. He clearly is crippled by this grief. And maybe hearing that he was wrong from other members of his church was enough to create pain, the kind of pain that creates change. I don't know how much more he's got to go through before he realizes that he's headed in the wrong direction and that what he did is not okay here. It's going to take forever for him to rebuild to the point that he was at. He'll never be the same man again. But man, in his position, I would be doing everything possible to try to repair my soul so that I could be the kind of father that I want to be and know that I can be. Step one. Step two, try to repair my soul and repair the trust to be the kind of husband that I know I can and should be as well. Until that happens, knowing that OP and her babies have a not just a sufficient, but like a solid place and support network in place is huge. It's just huge. Whew. Yeah, brother is a saint. That's a huge deal. And the fact that OP had to go no contact with mom after giving her a chance, and then mom not advocating for it all and advocating for the husband who just had a public display, a public tantrum at the gender reveal. That's horseshit, and that's the right call. I mean, you cannot allow people who will not advocate for you and will advocate for your harm. You cannot allow those people in your life.